What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In today's video, we're hopping into Venom War. This is issue number 1, and if you have no idea what is going on with Venom War, I highly recommend that you check out my playlist covering the entirety of the Venom series. We have every single issue, it'll get you caught up and really have you understand how we got to this point. Over the last 2 years or so, Marvel has really been hinting and foreshadowing the Venom War. That there was going to be a symbiote war that took place. And individuals like Doom knew that this was coming and kind of placed weapons along the way. With Eddie Brock, he has gone through one heck of a journey. He has learned that he is really the opposite of the Beyonders. That is what the King in Black is supposed to truly represent. Null went in the wrong direction. He became corrupted. And that at some point, once he reaches the end of all time, Eddie Brock becomes the eventuality. Pretty much an all-powerful, all-knowing god. And through this, Eddie Brock learns that if Dylan bonds with Venom, it would lead to what is called Venom World, the entire world being taken over by Venom. And then there is Dylan Brock. Throughout this whole ordeal, it has been a crazy run for him, but he wields the all-black Necro Sword. Not only this, he has been able to tap into his codex. After his encounter with Carnage, he had found himself at the eventuality, and there meeting the god version of his father at the end of all time. He was granted 5 questions, and the answers that he was given, this made him know that he has to stop his father from bonding with Venom. This is what leads to the Venom War. So, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so we're picking up at Grand Garden Arena in New York City. Currently, there's a wrestling match that is taking place. Cheering fans. Thunderous applause. But then above everybody's head, time opens up, and descending down from the heavens, we have Eddie Brock. We have Bedlam, Tyro, and Wild. Now, Wild, Tyro, and Bedlam, these are all versions of Eddie Brock. These are all Kings in Black. But the Eddie we see before us, he's the original. And as they land on the arena, they cause some mayhem. They start throwing haymakers. They start laying down some hate. As these guys crush all of the wrestlers, Eddie Brock picks up the microphone. He says that this ring belongs to him, that it belongs to the King in Black. Knowing that this is streaming out all over the city, all over the globe, he says that he wants 2 things. He wants his son, and he wants his other. That the war he is about to wage is not for a belt, but it is for so much more. This is the beginning of the Venom War. This is where we get a little bit of history about Venom, just kind of recapping his life. His earliest memory, he had gone against his king, broke away from his people, though the memories are only flashes. What came after was Telkar. For the first time, Venom had a host, a sentient host. And together, they were soldiers in war. This is the first thing that he ever truly knew, was war. But he knew that Telkar was not a true host. Controlled and damaged Venom, forced him to do terrible things. Eventually, he ran into another soldier, touching the mind of this soldier. After so long in darkness, he touched a mind with compassion, responsibility that stood like a stone, a gnawing guilt that demanded all lives be saved. He didn't know what yet a saint was, yet surely this sentient must be a saint. Saint Peter. And Peter had taught him that he wasn't bad. Peter believing in him made him want to do everything for him. And so he took on Peter's war, his mission. While he slept, he piloted the body. He protected as many as he could. But eventually, Peter tore him away from him. That he would rather die than have Venom attached to him. And yet, Venom still saved his life. Still wore his symbol. Still fought his war. The war against death itself. And that is why Venom came to Eddie. He thought he was bad inside. He was dying, poisoned by shame and self-hate, not by cancer. Venom says that he made that up to make him stay. He believed that he had a responsibility to save Eddie's life. That's why he chose to bond with him. Eddie needed him, and Venom needed Eddie. That meant declaring a new war. Even if it meant a war on the Holy St. Peter, Eddie's life would be saved. That means Venom did at least one good thing, saying that he didn't want to kill Peter and devour his brains. He's pretty certain on that. But it all did get a little bit complicated, and acknowledges that he did say that quite a bit. But there were many hosts that came after that. Anne, Angelo, Mac, Flash, Lee Price. Eddie believing that he destroyed every single one of them, to include Eddie, and now Dylan. Has he already destroyed Dylan? Is it already too late? That's why he chose to hide out in the closet of Peter Parker, a man that would never want to wear him, that would actively try to get rid of him. Dylan wants Venom to be his soldier, to fight his war, to fight death and to save lives. But he couldn't save Eddie, not in the end. He couldn't save Dylan, believing himself to be a parasite, that he only destroys every host he has ever had. So he sits here in Peter Parker's closet and he waits for death, even though Meridius had told Venom that Dylan is still alive, that Eddie was coming back. He doesn't know if he can believe him. And that is when Peter goes to grab his suit. He goes to put it on without looking, only to see very quickly that this is Venom. You see, Peter saw on the news what was going on with Eddie at the wrestling match. So he was throwing on his suit to see what he could do to help out. But seeing that this is Venom, Venom tells him not to freak out. And this is what takes us to Dylan Brock. He says that he's really unable to connect with Venom right now, that maybe Venom's learned how to hide himself. But the more likely thing is that it's himself holding back, because Carnage showed him things. Things that Venom and Eddie had kept from him. Things that had to deal with his mother, with other people, all the people they hurt, they killed, guilty, innocent, and everything they felt while they were doing it. And Carnage killed him. Any regular person would have died, but there's this symbiote side of him. Because Dylan Brock is half symbiote, half human. But when Dylan died, he fell into the unbeyond. This is where he met the eventuality. Something that is beyond death, beyond everything. The hand speaking in his father's voice. It said that he had 5 questions. He thought he was dead after everything that he had seen. And so he had to know, what would he do if he got back with Eddie? And it showed him. It showed his father as the King in Black, as they take down the 9th cosmos that will be the last cosmos. The last light staining the void, claiming that they are anti-all, and they are Venom. Asking the eventuality, how do I stop my father? It tells him that he will know when he is older. Now, he didn't know what that meant at the time, but Dylan Brock has a visitor. The man he is talking to is a time-traveling older version of himself. And this older version of Dylan, he knows how to do it. He knows how to take down his father, telling the younger Dylan that things didn't work out great in the future. Not for anybody. But from this point forward, it doesn't get any easier. The time machine that he has on his back is Doom Tech. That if he can change the past, it'll stay changed. But time is a juggernaut. It goes where it wants to go. The farther back you travel, the harder it is to change where you came from. And so the future Dylan wants to kill his future. But this is something that he can't do alone. There are 3 points that they must push on. If they all do their part at the end of all of this, they'll have one golden opportunity to kill the future. This is how they prevent Eddie Brock from becoming Null. But young Dylan is still very unsure about all of this. He assembled his team. He wants to confront his father, but he doesn't even know what he would say to him now. And thinking that maybe it's him, that he met God. He got 5 questions. He asked how to stop his father, even asked where he was, but didn't ask how to get him back. Dylan tells him that that's the good news. He's already back. With him taking off, we have Toxin showing up, saying that his father is back as they all rush over to the TV. We see Eddie Brock on the TV. We see him wrestling, taking down any mercenary or anybody that might step in his way. Dylan surrounded by everybody that he has gathered up. Red Goblin, Sleeper, Flexo, they're all here watching this, trying to make sense of it. They have figured out that everybody on that stage is Eddie Brock. Dylan wants to confront him, while Red Goblin, on the other hand, not sure if Dylan is up to the task, not sure if he has the capability to do what needs to be done. As we hop over to Alchemax, we pick up with Liz Allen. Now, we know that she is also a symbiote, something that Carlton Drake also knows about, but most others don't really have word of yet. She's trying to figure out why they just sent mercenaries to try and take down Eddie Brock, that it's all too public, it's making too much noise, that they have to find another way to deal with this. This is where we have a very suave, handsome gentleman coming into the room, introduced as Mr. Meridius. Now, if you follow the Venom line, you know who Meridius is. Meridius is like the ultimate evolution of Eddie Brock, outside of the original, of course. And when they were at their garden at the end of all time, Carnage had bursted through his chest. We believe that this had taken him down, but he wouldn't be a king in black if he was able to be taken down so easily. But Meridius comes here with something that is highly toxic, taking a chemical known as Chemical K45. He has manipulated it, improved the formula, what he calls Chemical K44. He added his own secret ingredient into it, creating the ultimate battle between the humans and symbiotes. He proclaims that what is inside this vial will win the Venom War. This is where we pick up with Peter and Venom. What we have is Venom being ashamed of the person that he has been. After Dylan has seen this, he doesn't want to go back, thinking that all he ever does is hurt, all he ever does is destroy. This is where Peter gives him a speech. He tells him that if that were true, it would make things real easy for you. The trouble is, I've seen you be a hero. I've seen you and Eddie save the world. So those excuses aren't gonna work. You're not a mindless monster. You're not some alien that doesn't know good from bad. You are stuck with a choice. Even doing nothing is a choice. But every day you must live with the choices that you make. That is the only power that you have in any of this. And power comes with responsibility. This is what takes us to the arena. All the King in Black sitting in the middle, and they feel something in the air. They feel another symbiote around them. Sleeper breaking the camouflage. Dylan and his hive have arrived. He tells his father that he wants to talk this out. And Eddie says that they got all the time in the world. He is just glad that Dylan is safe, but he needs his symbiote back. He needs his other. He needs Venom. Dylan says that he can't do this. And Eddie says that that's unacceptable. He has seen what happens if Dylan stays with Venom. 8 billion human beings all trapped in a symbiosis that never ends. Venom World. And Dylan says that, that does sound bad, but that's not what he means. Dylan doesn't have him. Venom's gone. And Eddie starts to kinda lose it. Getting mad at Venom, getting mad at Dylan. But Dylan says, why do you even care? I haven't seen you for months. I've been living on the streets. Last time I saw you, you were Bedlam. Now Bedlam's your sidekick. Not even sure how this works, but you abandoned me. And the first thing you do when you get back is ask for the thing that you killed people with, saying that Carnage showed him everything, with the arguing being interrupted because Spider-Man has arrived, letting them both know to chill out, cause Venom is in good hands. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Alright, so the Venom War is off to a good start. We have Venom and Peter Parker showing up on scene. What we can only assume is that Eddie is going to tell him, thanks for holding on to it, but you need to give Venom back. Venom is going to be more than likely indecisive, might join up, might not. By looking at the covers from the following issues, it looks like Spider-Man and Venom might stay together for a little bit. Kind of neutral ground, if you will. And then it's gonna be see Dylan agreeing with this, Eddie Brock not agreeing with this. Now, that's just my theory. It could definitely turn out another way. We're gonna have to see how all of this unfolds. But we know that there's big players on the board. We know that Kang has a lot to do with what's going on. We know that Doom has his hand in this as well. There's lots of time travel. There's lots of variables. We don't know what will actually happen. But what we do know is Dylan hasn't presented his full form yet. He hasn't played all of his cards. Eddie Brock is just barely getting the idea of what his son is capable of. But Dylan also doesn't know what his father is capable of. He doesn't understand the true nature of the King in Black. It is such a much larger game. The truth is, none of them know what they're really playing with. They are starting to dip their toes into the water, but they have a lot to learn still. Add in the fact that we have Carnage with his god-killing trident. He has made his way up to godhood, and he plans to challenge the King in Black to take out Eddie Brock Prime once and for all. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that has been going on with Venom, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on everything that has happened with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.